This is Supernaught. My name is Beth Kelling, and I'm going to talk about spirituality, sobriety, and the spectrum of self. I've loved talking about spirituality for as long as I can remember, and I've been on a sobriety journey since 2020. The more I talk about sobriety, the stronger I become. The more I explore spirituality, the more fulfilled I feel. This is a space for stories and for the moments where struggle meets transformation. This is Supernaught. Hi, Leah.
Hi.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
What song did you pick for us to listen to before we started?
Live and Die by the Avett Brothers. I picked it because, I've known it for a long time, and I've always listened to it a very different way. And then once I kind of started my alcohol-free journey, I looked at it a totally different way, like sober self to drunk self, or the person that likes to drink likes to overindulge. And I just kind of felt like they're having conversation in the song, and like, come on, we can do this, we can get out of this. So yeah, thought it'd be kind of appropriate.
I had never heard it before, but it was so beautiful. I listened to it earlier today too, and you know such cool music. You have to send me more, or I'll start asking you more often to send songs.
It's cool how music like can hit you different in different chapters in your life, you know? So yeah.
But where do you find all the like bluegrass music? You and the tribe like all are into such good music. I'm still stuck in like the 90s.
Yeah. I like playlists. And then you like hear someone on a playlist or like a soundtrack, love soundtracks, because you get like so many different new bands you've never heard of. And then I like live in a band for so long. Right now I'm listening to Matthew Mason, because I saw him open up for Zach Bryan, and I'm like, who is this? And I'm just like obsessed with him. So I don't know, I just get kind of obsessive, and then I kind of go off of their radio stations on like playlists and stuff, and then I find more. I don't know.
Yeah.
And the girls and Matt and Adam sends me a song every morning. 2.5 years we've been together, and I get a new song from him every single morning. So
how does he find them?
He has a Leah like list. So he always commutes to work, and he'll be like, oh, she'll like this. And so then he saves it in his little Leah box, and then he sends them to me. It's so cute. Actually, the one he sent me this morning, I almost sent to you. And I was like, I feel like I need to find something that's a little bit more from like me, you know? But it was really good. I'll send you that one because it has a really good song through like, get you through like a tough day or tough times. Yeah.
Perfect.
And since I was so sleepy and whiny last night, he sent it to me this morning.
Perfect.
Yeah.
What's your all-time favorite band?
Ooh, probably Wilco, probably. Again, just a big chapter of my life where I don't listen to them as much anymore. I feel like that was like a really big band that I listened to with my ex-husband, and so I kind of feel like it's kind of something we did together in our chapter. So it feels a little weird listening to Wilco now. Avett Brothers, I discovered on my own, and I got into on my own, and I just am obsessed with them on my own, and bring everyone into the obsession of Avett Brothers.
Yeah, it's not emotionally attached to anybody else. It's like, that's you. Yeah.
It feels like it was a self-discovery.
I hate how guys or people can ruin songs or bands for you.
I would never call Wilco like ruined. It's just so many shows we went to together, and I just feel like Adam even asked me, do you want to go? We should go to Wilco. He saw my concert tickets. He's like, you've gone to Wilco a lot. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, we should go to a Wilco show. And I just feel like, I don't know, I just want to do some new stuff with him and not like have same things with him. Like new our stuff. So
yeah, that's healthy.
Yeah. So nothing, I don't like to look at Wilco as bad, but definitely a different chapter.
Yeah.
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 Well, I've been thinking about you for the last week and realized that you are the most creative friend that I have, like in so many aspects, from your beauty salon to your crafts and your earrings and your style and music and landscaping right now. So you just dug up some raspberries and I got to take a couple bushes. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
What is inspired this big landscaping spring?
Honesty, I hate mowing that area.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
all about
So you like
simplifying.
do the hard work right now so that all summer is easier?
Yes,
Ooh,
yes,
I wish I could get in that
exactly.
mind state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have a graduation next year, and I'm like, well, this would be fun
Mm,
if I could make this cool. I know it's kind of silly. It's
mm,
like one day, but it would be fun to have. I've been thinking about doing this for 2 years,
mm,
and I'm like, nope, I'm doing it, working on it all summer. It doesn't have to be done like this. And
mm-hmm.
we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, it felt really good to clear out the raspberries. That's been very overdone,
Yeah.
overdue.
Yeah.
So
Well, good job. I just saw a snap from last year and I had way more plants outside. And I mean, I'm busy right now too. So I'm like trying not to give myself too hard of a time,
yeah.
but it's like,
Did you plant a
honest.
lot last year?
Like, yeah, just like raised
Yeah.
little things outside on my deck. And this year
Yeah.
I'm like, no, not even close to
Yeah.
anything. I have one flower pot from a coworker for Mother's Day, but yeah.
My inside is much more green than my outside.
Mm,
I just
mm-hmm,
really got into succulents and like
mm,
honestly, like 1 year ago in just like December, I got like a cool succulent thing from a fundraiser. And then I brought it, no. I brought it home a year ago and then I separated all the succulents. So that was cool, like a big step for me, not killing a succulent.
yeah.
And then this winter, I propagated them. So now I'm
Awesome.
growing all these baby succulents and they're so cute. And it's like when they're growing, I'm like, girls, go look at the succulents. But it's just so fun. I killed succulents. Like
Me too.
I
Yeah.
how do you do that? They're like
Yeah.
killless, but I killed them.
I finally had a plant that like I had for years that a friend gave me and it was doing really good and then my new kitty peed in it. And I was like, why are you ruining the
My
one
life.
thing?
The
Yeah.
one thing I kept growing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
too bad. You couldn't bring it back?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
No. Because I don't think I noticed for a couple days and
Yeah, that urine.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you made kombucha. You brought me some today.
Yes.
How did you get into making that?
Just started that a little bit ago. Someone on Facebook was Jennifer Nielsen
Mm.
was had scobies and she extra scobies and she's like, does anyone want these? I'll even give a lesson. And I'm like, yes. And
Yeah.
Adam and I both drink a lot of kombucha and I'm like, do you want to do this with me? He was like, hell yeah, let's do this. So it has been so fun and it's so much easier. I was telling you this, it's so much easier to me. I was trying to get on that sourdough trend. It started turning into sourdough. I could not keep doing it. I'm like, this is much better. Like I can
Mm-hmm.
have a kombucha a day and like not gain 50 pounds.
Yeah, and you can be so creative with it. What I was so excited to learn is how you can put literally anything in it: jelly, spices,
Yes.
peanut butter, bacon.
Yeah. Yes.
That's wild to me.
Yeah. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
only on my second batch, and my first one I did kind of spontaneously, and I had turmeric. Well, it was a whole spice blend tea already brewed from the morning,
Mm.
and I just had it left over in my teapot. And I put that in like 3 of them, and they were so good. And I'm like, you literally
Mm.
can just put anything in them, and
Yeah.
they taste so good. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know if those are gonna be good. I put chia seeds in one. I'm like, that's kind of
I thought you were
weird,
gonna say
but
Cheez-Its.
I don't.
That would be really weird.
I don't know.
Oh, it'd get all mushy
All the
and
chemicals.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, if you have extra succulents, I think for the Harvest Moon Festival at the fairgrounds, we're gonna do another plant sale, or for sure by next
Ooh.
spring when we
Okay.
do a fundraiser for the fairgrounds.
Yes.
If you have any extra.
Oh,
Jody
I should have a lot by then. All my little babies are gonna be big.
and Jody did the cutest thing and like named all of the plants. Like put a
Oh,
little
yeah.
sticker in with the name of them. So it was
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm gonna go buy Louise or I'm gonna go buy
Yes.
Denny, like cute little
Yes.
names. So yeah, and I mean, just an idea for anybody doing a fundraiser, plant sales. It went so good.
Okay, yeah. I should keep that in mind for Maggie. Layla's all done with her fundraisers now, but that is that's good. But yes, I should have lots, especially because I'm just gonna keep propagating. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Good job getting your hands dirty and doing that.
Yes, it's so fun. It's like just not instant gratification, but doing it is like just I don't know. But all this came from me seriously stopping drinking. Like I just had so much more energy and creativity in my mind. All the things I've wanted to do for so many years, I started doing them when I wasn't hungover on a Saturday, Sunday. I actually was productive, and like these are things I've been wanting to do forever and ever, and never killed succulents. Like I won't even make time to water the succulent,
Or overwater it when you do.
Yes.
I think that, yeah. Well, yeah, let's get into that. So you recently just went a year. I think it was back in September that you made it the year.
Yeah. Yep.
And have you drank since then?
No. Mm-mm.
Awesome. So it's a year and a half.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I was inspired by your year, and I'm like, okay, I want to do this, but I don't want to put a date on it. I just, whenever. So I'm not saying never, like I'm never going to have a drink ever again, but
I loved how you wrote that in your Facebook post. You were like, I'm not saying I'm never going to drink again. I'm not saying this. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I did this. I went a year.
Yeah. It's a cool. Had you ever gone a year before?
A month. When I was bartending, one time I went a month and everybody put a sign up that was like, Beth made it one day. Everybody's cheering me on every day and it's this big thing. And I felt like, oh, I'm going to have more energy. I'm going to have all these things. But in just a month, you just don't. It's not enough time to really feel a big difference. So it felt like an accomplishment then.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And I had done a month, Whole 30, and I did 3 months right after my separation, and so I've done little chunks, and kind of the same thing where it's like, well, I'll see when I do, and then it's usually social events that get you, know.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to put a date on it, and I still don't have a date on it, but
just haven't had an urge.
Not at all. No. No, and I finally feel like in the beginning it was just socially it was the hardest.
So was it like me where you would show up to things planning to not drink and then change your mind?
Before?
Like when you got there, would you change your mind? Or
before, when
you would go a month or two and then
probably be like, yeah, sure, I'll have one. And then you know how that goes when you don't have an off switch.
Yeah, for sure.
So, or when you have really fun friends, and it's just like,
and you just want to be a part of it.
Yeah, we're having such a good time, and it's like, and my family's the same way. Like, it's just so fun, and so, yeah.
Last summer, I went to a threshing show with some friends, and I was having a really fun time. It was nice weather and getting along with everybody. But when my brain shut off, as it did every time I drank, or decided to, I literally a couple of sips, and I noticed my friends moving in closer to me, and I don't think it was intentional. It was just the energy I was putting out there was instantly that fun energy. Beth's here. She's ready to party. Yeah. And so and I'll everybody just gravitated towards me. And I was like, this is the magic or devil or the evil that is alcohol for me. Not saying alcohol is evil for everybody, but for me, it's I could see in instant motion that everybody was gravitating towards me because I was letting loose. I was being more fun. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because you were a fun drunk. I feel like I was a fun drunk.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
you definitely were.
It's hard to see it as a problem when you're a fun drunk. You don't have anger issues that come along with it or anything, and so
Mhm.
it's hard to see it as like an issue.
Yeah, and the next day everybody would be like, "No, you were fine all night." And I'm
Yeah,
like, "Okay, but I don't remember any of it, so what
right.
was the point?"
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know? Mhm.
Exactly. Back to music, the amount of concerts I've gotten to, and I don't remember half of it.
Mm.
So sad. You spend all that money to go see this band that you love or you're like so excited to see, and then you don't remember half of it. Like,
Yeah.
it's so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think yeah, socially is I think was the hardest part to put up those boundaries for yourself. Not like for me it wasn't boundaries for anyone I needed to stay away from. It was
Mhm.
just boundaries for myself knowing like I probably will drink if I go to this. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And
Mhm.
so I had to put up those boundaries.
Mhm.
So
So leading up to the decision, was there like some bad things that had happened, or was it just this like steady, ongoing, like desire to quit for a year?
Um, the summer, so I quit right after Labor Day weekend, and that summer, my boyfriend doesn't drink at all, and he's been sober for years, and he was like, you're fun until you're not. Like you cross this line where it's not that fun. And I had heard my parents say that to me too before. Like, you're fun until you're not. And I think I just get loud and obnoxious when it's way into it, and that's probably more blackout moments where I don't even know what's happening anymore.
Mhm.
And I still think I'm hilarious and so
Yeah.
fun and
Mm. Yeah.
everyone's
And the
laughing.
other drunk people do too. They think that you
Yes.
are too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. When you're right there with each other, it is super fun.
Mhm.
But and it wasn't like him saying don't do this. He was just wanting me to be aware
Mhm.
that I did have a line that I would
Mhm.
like cross into. And the last time I drank, it was a family reunion. Adam wasn't there. Hmm. I'm dry, sorry. And it was the first time it's a family reunion every year. We do it. It's at my aunt and uncle's pool, and all my mom's family is there. People come from out of state. Like it's super super fun, and it is a drinking event. Like you are drinking in their backyard. It's safe. And no one's driving. I mean, it is just a really good time. We play games, all the things. It was the first time I was with my kids a lot. They are usually with all the cousins and they're doing all their fun things with the cousins, and the adults are doing all these things. And it was the first time I felt like they were getting older. And so I was with them more. I think they were like maybe 12 and 15 or something like that. And they were laughing with me, and then I started hearing like, "Mom, have water." Like, "Mom, okay, maybe skip that one." And they were doing these little things. I'm like, and when you've been day drinking and then someone tries to tell you to have water, I was just like, no. And then it's hard to talk about. I was actually wondering if I was going to mention it, but it was definitely the breaking point. I slapped my daughter when she told me to have water, and whew, that's why I wasn't going to talk about it. But it wasn't like she. It was a slap, and she went, "You did not," And I
Mhm.
was
It
just
wasn't
like,
hard.
No, and it wasn't, and I was just like,
You thought
ugh,
you were being cute and playful. You
yes,
weren't doing it
yeah.
out of anger, but
Not to give it any justice, not to
mhm.
give it justice, but I barely remembered it the next day. I didn't remember it until my oldest daughter told me about it, and I was like,
Because how did she react in the moment? Was she upset right away, or
Maggie.
yeah?
Maggie was just like shocked, and then they were like, "Okay, Leah, like definitely." And I think I immediately was, when you feel so ashamed that you're like almost offended, and like you put up this defense where I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. And then I just removed myself and probably went and got another drink or maybe a water, no idea. And went and did something else and just kind of blew it off. So in the moment she was like shocked, and then, and kind of laughing at the same time. But then Layla told me about it the next day, and she said the same thing Adam had said to me, heard from my parents. You're fun till you weren't. And then you just crossed this line. You were obnoxious, and you weren't funny anymore. You were annoying. And then you slept Maggie and continued to be annoying for the rest of the night. And I was like, yep, that was my wake-up call.
So the next day you decided.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was hungover for probably a week.
I believe it.
So, there was no chance I was having alcohol, so that probably helped that I was hungover for so many days. But I was like, nope, I'm definitely done for a while. And yeah, of course, had a talk with Maggie and apologize. But funny little side story, Maggie and I, was it that spring or was it the next year? It must have been that spring. So that was the summer. So then, yeah, about 6 months later, Maggie and I went to Santa Fe, just the two of us. And we were on a train and they were passing out champagne. And I grabbed one just to be polite. And then I was like, this would be my first alcoholic drink since Hoffman-Palooza. And she's like, what? You haven't drank since Hoffman-Palooza? And I'm like, really? And so, it wasn't like, I'm not drinking. I wasn't making this big thing, in the house or anything like that. And I'm like, no. And I go, slapping you was, my bottom. I never want to be like that ever again. And she was like, what? And she's like, you're not drinking because of me? And, it was very shocking to her. And I was like, yeah, Maggie, so it was very cool. It was a cool moment and makes me now want to still not drink for probably ever.
Yeah, that's so special. And okay, so at that point you could have been like, okay, well, I'm just going to stop drinking after 2 drinks. That's going to be my thing. But had you tried that before? Because for me, it's like, I can drink the rest of my life. I can drink every day, but it's only going to be 2 drinks. I had told myself that so many thousands of times, and it just doesn't work for me.
No, same. I can't. I have no off switch. When I feel that little bit of I was really thinking about it. I'm like, is it joy? What is it? And what it is, I think for me, is the carefree, where you just don't care. And when that starts coming in, I'm like, oh, this is so great.
Yeah.
Just the stress or just all the cares in the world. But when all the cares in the world go away, you're irresponsible. You do stupid things or you say stupid things or there's been times where I'm like, I should have been home and I was at the neighbors or, and.
But is that because you want to shut all that off because you have an overactive brain? Do you think you do? Is that why it's so nice to drink and let it all go? Or why do you want to relax into it so much?
I think at the time I was, I shouldn't say at the time because I've been this way since high school. No off switch.
Same.
I was never a 2 drink. I always said, if you can't get a buzz, what's the point?
Oh, yeah, I never understood it.
I don't want to drink these calories and then not feel anything.
When I bartended, the girls that would come in, or guys, but usually it was girls that would come in and have 1 drink an hour, I'd be like, I can't relate to you at all.
Yeah.
Who are you? Because the second I go out, I'm like, shots. I'm like, let's go,
Yeah, because that's what you're doing it for, is to feel almost a little numb and
sedate myself is what I realized I was doing for so long.
And it's I'm guessing when I go back in time and I really dive deep into it, it probably came from a lot of my insecurities went with that care. And then I just felt more confident. I felt good about myself and I didn't have those insecurities maybe holding on. Or maybe I was numbing myself from things I wasn't happy about in my life, So I was numbing that. And I had way more fun being drunk and happy than sober and maybe miserable in
thinking
a
about
chapter
things,
in my
like
life.
thinking about
Yeah.
life or
Yeah.
dealing with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Yeah. So, like I said, and you've said, it wasn't, well, that moment with Maggie was bad. That was definitely one of my worst moment. But otherwise it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, it wasn't, but there just was no off switch ever.
So making the decision, you're like, okay, I'm going to do it. Did it end up being harder or easier than you expected?
I think harder and easier. I think some things were harder. Socializing was definitely harder, and putting up boundaries to people I really, really love, and not because of them, but because of the boundaries I had to put for myself, and kind of finally putting myself at like number one. Like, you have to do this for you, like to feel good and feel good about yourself and be happy about your decisions. And so, like, you have to put up these boundaries with people that you really love. I'm really close with my mom's family, but we drink when we're together. And so it takes time for people to get used to that. Took time for me to get used to it. The social anxiety going into like an event sober, like, is it's not fun in the beginning till you really get used to it and you really face it,
Is it still hard?
Way easier. I feel like I can go into a social situation now and just totally be me. I think I have less social anxiety than I did before, even when I was drinking, and I would go in and immediately need those drinks to like feel better socially.
Yeah.
And now I feel like I go in like definitely more feeling better, just like, just gonna be me. And I hope people can see that I can still be fun, even without those drinks. Maybe not as fun or as quirky and dorky. I mean, I'm those too, sober, but and sober is also, I like to say, alcohol free, because I love my THC drinks. I love my gummies, but I am very responsible. I feel like I have a healthy relationship with them.
Yeah.
I was never an every night drinker. I was a weekend drink, like usually one night a weekend, unless there was an event that it was 2 days. But THC is kind of the same thing. And I have one. I have like one gummy or one THC drink just to like relax on a Friday night, or, so it's a healthy relationship. So the sober, I don't really like to say that I'm sober, because I definitely still like my THC.
And same, I still like THC. So I don't say I'm sober either. I just say I don't drink. But and I wonder if people are going to be judgy about that on this, like, oh, it's about sobriety, but Beth isn't completely sober. Well, yeah, I mean, not from everything right now, but I still want to talk about it and have discussions.
I think sobriety is like so different for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, and even if you aren't drinking or doing anything for a week, like, you had a sober week, that's great.
Yeah.
You had a sober morning, that's great. So I think it's like totally different. I think being with someone that has had such a journey, and I don't want to get into his story at all, but like, so I'm like, I'm alcohol free, because I just don't want to take away.
Because he can't actually say sober, because he's sober from
everything.
all mind-altering drugs.
Yes.
Coffee too?
No. Hell no. He loves his caffeine. So, like, I feel like I don't want to take anything from that, but also I think sober is just so many different ways you can look at it. But yeah, definitely alcohol free. Yeah. But having a healthy relationship with THC, I think, is just, I feel really good about that.
Yeah, I'm working on mine getting healthy. I went 3 months this winter without it, and I thought my social anxiety would get better, and it didn't. So that's kind of why I started again. But still trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
But I think of it more as a tool and a friend for creativity.
Yeah.
Than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because why do you feel like you don't want it because were you overindulging maybe? Yeah.
Because I like to just get like stupid stoned and just lay there and just like zone out.
Yeah.
And when I do that too often, then I just
Start
don't feel
regret.
productive.
Yeah. And
And
do
I
you
can't get the
regret
stuff
it a
done.
little bit?
Regret when I do it, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because then you're like, I
I
could
could
have
have
done
done
all
so
these
much more
things. Yeah.
tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. So just finding your balance
Yeah.
in your relationship with
Yeah.
it.
Trying to figure out my balance.
Yeah.
So was there anybody who was everybody supportive in your life when you quit?
I feel like in ways, I feel like it was kind of hard for some people to just kind of fell off the face of the earth with some people just socially, and I think that was maybe a little hard, I guess. I don't know. It's not like don't have any relationships ruined over it or anything like that, but it's just finding like new relationships with the same people, you know? And I had a lot of support, just like cheerleaders, that are like, this is great. And Adam, surprisingly, I mean, he's been super supportive, but he's always like, do you want a glass of wine if we go out for dinner, like, you can have a glass of wine. I'm like, I am not doing this for you.
Yeah.
This was for me. This wasn't for him. So much easier when you have someone that isn't drinking. You did that in your year. And it is so much easier to do.
Yeah, but really great that he is making sure that it's not about him and making sure that you feel comfortable. That's amazing.
Yeah. I think some people maybe on the outside looking in might feel like, oh, she's doing this because he doesn't drink. But no, this is something I've wanted to do for a long time. And the things that are coming out of it, the creativity that's coming out of it, things I've wanted to do for so long. So I think they just kind of come hand in hand, So it's, to me, and that's okay if people feel that way, but like, it's sad to me if they can't see what's coming out of it. And then I'm finding like my best self,
Can you think of a best thing that has happened from it?
For sure, just my relationship with my girls.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm just so present in their life now. And it's kind of funny. So we were talking about that I was doing this tonight. And Layla's like, are you nervous? And Maggie's like, are you going to be famous? So funny. And then Layla's like, are you nervous? And I'm like, not really. It was Beth and Veda, and I think it'll be, pretty simple, easy to just sit and chat with you. And she goes, what's she gonna ask you? I'm like, I don't know. And she goes, I'm on this. So she went on her phone and started asking me questions. And that was one of the questions was, what's the best thing that's come out of it? And I was like, hands down, no hangovers. And they both were like, oh. Like they were so offended. I'm like, no, okay, yes, you guys, just being home with them all the time. When I say I'm going to be home at 9, I'm home at 9, probably 8:30. So like, I think it's just made us just so much stronger. We're about to go on a 10-day West Coast road trip together, just the three of us. So I'm just, I don't know if I'd be doing these things. I feel like so much of what I did was related to like, drinking. Like, would I want to go on this trip, or would I want to go
have the time to plan it? Because how many hours do you think you've put into planning this?
A lot of blog reading.
Because how many states are you going to?
Just 3. So we're just doing Washington, Oregon, California.
But there's so many. I haven't been on a road trip there, but I've planned some trips there that never happen, and it is so much. Because there's so much to see, so much picking. Like, okay, I'm gonna go see this waterfall for 45 minutes, and then drive. I mean, it's just a lot.
Yeah. I mean, we did an East Coast trip, an Upper East Coast trip, and we didn't quite do it how I had planned. And so we're doing this one really differently and just very spontaneous. Like, that looks really cool. We can go look at it. Or this town is really cool. Let's spend more time doing this and maybe cut out a couple of these things. Or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot more spontaneous, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
So, but
That's
I don't know if this trip would happen if I was in a different place in my life, you know, and making them such, I mean, they've always been a priority. I love my girls, and
Of course.
I feel like I've always had a good relationship with them, but it is just not this. This is amazing. So, which makes me so sad to think of Layla leaving like in a year. So
I know.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
so I didn't tell you, I forgot to tell you as we would get into this, but I can't remember the time frame. You went through a really hard time, hardest time of your life when your dad passed.
yeah.
Was that before you quit drinking, after? I can't remember.
So he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and 6 months, his last 6 months, I was not drinking. So very, that decision honestly wasn't based off, I honestly was like so naive when it came to his cancer. I was just like, he is going to either overcome it, or he's going to live for 10 more years, or never ever was like, he will only have a year. So, so I really wasn't thinking that the year or the not drinking would affect that much, but I'm so glad that I didn't for the last 6 months that he was here. So I got to stop crying. So I want to tell you guys a fun story. So we went to Michigan, my dad and I, in the fall.
Otter story?
What's that?
The Otter story?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
We'll get there. Sorry.
That was actually after he passed away.
Okay.
But we went to Michigan to go to his dispensary for the first time. He'd never been to his dispensary. So we took a road trip and went, or a day trip, and went, and it was such an incredible experience. Just driving there, it was fall. Oh, it was beautiful. Actually, it was rainy on the way there, and we left super early in the morning, so we couldn't see anything, but the drive back was gorgeous. But we went, and we had this angel of a bud tender. We went to Rise. I don't know if I can say these things. Okay.
Of course, yeah.
We went to Rise in, I don't remember the town. What's the one? Anyway.
Marquette?
No, it wasn't Marquette.
Michigan?
It was, anyway. But we walked up, we had our turn. We walked up. This guy was our bud tender, and my dad just said, okay, so I have cancer, and I'm just kind of like, I'm dealing with a lot of pain that I can't quite kick, and I don't want to be on these pain meds that is like not making me feel great. So I'm trying to like get rid of some of the pain with not feeling bad. And he was a nurse for, I can't remember how many years. He was a nurse and decided to get out of the pharmacy world, the devil, and come and start working for something more natural. And he was amazing. And he just knew everything that my dad was talking about, like what he was going through. And he's like, oh, okay, so we could do this. And like just went through all this stuff. My dad ended up spending $500. He was just like, I want that. And then he's like, what about those? And he's like, that's more for recreational. And he goes, I'll take those too.
That is so cute.
It was so cute. It was so fun. And we just had, we had drives all the time. And that was just an amazing,
one of the best drives.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, going from like high school, assuming, you know, that your parents are like totally against marijuana.
Yeah.
And now, you know, it's like get to go to a place with them, like open the doors to that. Yeah,
yes.
That's awesome.
It was kind of funny. On the way there, it was kind of chilly, and so we stopped, and I just got a stocking cap, like a black stocking cap. He was wearing a black stocking cap, and when we were driving home, we had to cut through Wisconsin, and there were cops everywhere. And he looked at, we were in my mom's van, and he looked at me and he goes, take off that stocking cap. You look like a drug dealer. I go, take off your stocking cap. You're wearing the same one.
Oh my gosh,
But
that is so cute.
it was funny. For a moment, we were a little nervous, but
laughing.
yeah,
and
laughing.
having fun.
Oh gosh, I'll just never forget it. So anyway, but then fast forward to him passing away. I'm just so glad that I was sober through that. And just,
were you thinking it'd be hard not to be like, hey, I'm just gonna drink one night away?
No, it didn't even cross my mind. I just, my sister and I were in charge of giving him his pain meds, and we had to do it, I think it was hourly or maybe every couple hours. I can't really remember. But it was so sad, but like such a magical time too. I don't know. And I just wanted to feel every feeling.
Yeah.
You know? So
yeah, that's the point of coming to this planet, I think, is to feel every feeling.
yeah. So no, I was really happy. I was really happy that I didn't drink and I did not have any THC through that. I just really wanted to be there in the moment with my whole family. It was pretty magical. So, and he died on his birthday. I mean, he's just such a funny guy. But
and can you tell the Otter story?
oh, the Otter story. Oh my gosh. Okay, so then he passed away on I think it was a Sunday. And then on Wednesday, I told Adam, I'm like, I'm going to go to, so I'll tell you just this quick little snippet. So the last night he was able to like get up and he was still talking because we were all there, my siblings and nieces and nephews, the girls and everyone. And we were talking and he got up, sat up in his chair and he goes, I think I want to go to the North Shore. And tomorrow I want to get up and go to the North Shore.
And that was a thing you guys did a lot, or kind of random?
He did with my mom a lot, and he absolutely loved the North Shore. They love the North Shore. They did this all the time. And my mom's like, okay, where do you want to go? And he said, I want to go to Temperance. And we all kind of laughed because Temperance is 3 hours north. And my mom goes, okay, you want to go all the way? And I don't remember what he said. Do you want to tell me what to do? Like he even snapped at her a little bit. And anyway, that was his last conversation with us. The next day he was not able to get up and we barely heard him talk anymore after that. So after he passed, I'm like, I want to go to Temperance. He wanted to go to Temperance. So I want to go there. And we were all grieving in our own ways. Kind of, we had all been together and we kind of all went our ways. And I'm like, I just want to go to Temperance. Like, I just want to go do this. And so I hadn't even mentioned it to my mom or sister. But I told Adam and he's like, do you want me to come with you? And I'm like, if you want to, like you can come with, but I want to leave at 4 a.m. because I want to see the sunrise. If there's a sunrise, I want to see it. So I want to leave super, super early. So we left early. We got there at like 7 maybe, and it's gloomy. It is not sunny. There was no sunset. It was very gloomy but kind of beautiful too. And I had never been there before. I had never been to Temperance. So we walked down to the lake and it was really pretty. Like the water was melting and you go over the bridge there and that was all running but ice was still there. It was really pretty. So we walked down and I go sit on this big rock. He's looking for agates. Adam's always somewhere in his own world. And I just go sit at the rock and I look out and there's something swimming and I'm like, is it a bird? I can't really quite figure it out. And I just keep watching it and I'm like, is that a fucking otter? No way. And I keep watching it and I'm trying to just record it, zoom in, see if I could see it a little bit better. it's an otter, and then another otter comes, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. So 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, I don't even know how long ago it was, I asked my dad if he could be any animal, what would it be? And he said an otter. So it was crazy. I've never seen an otter ever in my life other than maybe a zoo or something. And I'm just like, oh my God. And I'm like, Adam, oh my God. And I'm just freaking out. And there's another otter. His sister passed away. She got killed by a drunk driver. And years ago, I think I was in like 10th grade. And I'm like, he's with Shelly. He's finally with Shelly. And I'm just watching these otters swim. Well, they go to that water over by the bridge where there's like the waterfalls or the water running, and they just start playing. Like seriously, we sat and watched them for 2 hours, and it was just us. There was no one else there, and we just watched these otters play, catch fish, eat the fish, fight over the fish. Like it was so magical, and I needed that because I was like, how am I supposed to like go back into the world without him here? And he was just like, I'm an otter.
I'm happy. I'm back at the source energy. I'm like my energy is good.
Yeah. And I think it was just that sign, like, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. Tell everyone I'm good. And it was amazing. So
that's such a beautiful story.
I don't think he stayed an otter. I think he's been 1 million animals. My dad was such an animal lover, and I think he's been a million animals, being all these different things. I don't know. I think he's having the time of his life, free from a lot of his demons. He had a lot of demons too, and I think he's just free. So, yeah. So going through all that with going through all that sober, it's just so magical. So
having the clarity to not being hungover, so you could wake up early and go to that, having the clarity to see that, I think that's a blessing. Definitely. So did any of that change your relationship with what you believe in spiritually?
I think going through that, and just learning a lot about myself, and feel like I'm starting to go on my first true my own spiritual path. I've gone to church my whole life. My kids have gone to Sunday school and been baptized and confirmation, confirmation, all those things. Those are all the things I went through. I feel like I have something different, and something actually my dad and I really connected on, just like something out of not in a book, and just something around us, just the feeling. And
you can feel a relationship with something that you don't necessarily need to find at church or in a Bible.
And I think the church is amazing, and the Bible is amazing and full of lessons. I think there's a lot of lessons in a lot of different religions, which I think is great, and great for the people who believe in them and everything. I just feel like I don't know, I just feel like I'm learning a lot of lessons just through nature, natural things, the tea, the kombucha. I just feel like there's so much that I'm trying to connect with that's a little bit more that was here,
just tapping in. Like just making the kombucha, I think, is just tapping into that energy of creativity and everything.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that was my dad was very spiritual, not religious at all, So I learned a lot of that, I think, through him, and just want to continue. When Adam and I went to Idaho and Utah, and just learning a lot. Like we started reading a lot about the Mormon culture and everything. And just then I went down this dive of different religions, and I just kept going and going. And for the first time, I was like, I think I really need to tap more into Buddhism, because I feel like that is more probably me, feels a little bit more like me than I ever realized. And my dad. And I'm like, yeah, that's weird that we never really went that route or talked about that. But the more I was going down that path, I kind of feel that way. Adam got me this amazing book. It was 365 Days of Buddhism Teachings. And it's just this one little lesson you read in the morning. And it's just so positive.
Yeah, I can just connect with it more. And I'm pretty sure Buddhism, they don't consider themselves a religion. They're just like, hey, life is hard. It's super hard. Here's some ways to make it not so hard. Here's some guidelines you can follow. If you don't feel like following them every day, that's fine. Just like once in a while, here's some ideas. You know?
And let's keep it positive. Let's find your positive grounding, you know? So,
Yeah, I like it. And when my mom brought me to a Buddhist temple when I was like 20, this guy handed me a book and he's like, don't give up Christianity. You can do both. And I was like, awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So, fun to dive into. Hope you can come back on and we'll just talk about spirituality and your journey. But for now, is there any advice that you'd give anybody that's thinking about quitting for a year, drinking, or quitting anything?
I would probably say this is like dive into the podcasts. Honestly, like podcasts were my saving grace for sure. And walking, I was walking and listening to podcasts.
Can you tell me about that couple that was, or they're like friend couples?
Yes, and I wish I could remember. I could go find it.
Okay, and we'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, I'll go find it and what their name is. But they were just two people, different paths and sobriety paths, and they just chat about different stories, like drunk stories, different things, and how they overcame stuff. And I would listen to one on every walk. I would just listen to them. They're hilarious. I haven't listened to them for a long time, but I listened to them for probably like the first 6 months. I even sent it to Matt. I'm like, I think you would really like these guys and maybe kind of help you out too. And he wrote me, I don't know, a couple weeks later, and he's like, they're hilarious. Thank you. You know, so dive into the podcast and
because then you have somebody to do it with, even if you do have support of like your boyfriend was sober too, but the more the better. I feel like just
when you can relate to so, and I think that's what I liked about them. They're so relatable. Like I said, I didn't drink every day. You know, I drank on the weekends, and that was very much, one of them was very much that way. And so just so relatable. And so you can find those people on the podcast, and it does feel like you have someone to like go to, you know. But yeah, probably that. And then putting up the boundaries, maybe not, like I said, for a certain person, but for yourself, and making sure you're sticking to your plan and your goals. And look I'm wearing my Otter socks right now.
Not even on purpose?
Not even on purpose. They just went with my pink pants this morning. They say Crystal got them for me. Hello from the Otter side.
All right, I'd like to end by asking these two questions. What do you do that you hope your grandkids do when they're your age?
What I do that I hope they do? I want, okay, I know what it is. And it probably starts with my kids and going into the grandkids, but fall in love with yourself. I just want them to love themselves and be okay putting yourself up here and being your number one priority. You should be your number one priority. Who else is going to do that? Like, you got to be number one, and then you can love really wholeheartedly, and you can be loved wholeheartedly, and not being something shitty because you'd be like, no, I'm worth way more than that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is something I found in my 40s. When I turned 40, I really started to be like, you know what? You're a catch.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And I
Mm-hmm.
kind of still, and I just kept going with that. And I'm just like, no, like, you should really love yourself. So, and
Yeah.
that's the song, too.
That's what I was going to say is
Yeah.
it goes back to the song.
Yeah. Yep. Just,
And I hear so many people say that the 40s is when women really start to feel self-love.
yeah.
So one more year. No.
Yeah.
No, I start to feel it more and more all the time.
Yeah.
Too. So
Yeah. That's awesome.
yeah. And what do you do that you hope your kids and your grandkids don't do?
Oh, smoke. Hands down. That is a battle. I have not, right now I am about 2 weeks not smoking a cigarette.
Good.
I think when I decided not to drink, I quit smoking for, that was when it was my dad's funeral. I decided I'm either going to go have a drink because he had a funeral a month later, or it was past his death. And I'm like, I called Adam. I'm like, I'm either going to go to the liquor store or I'm going to go to the gas station. I need a cigarette or I need a drink. I need something. Like, I am going crazy. Yeah. And I went and I got a cigarette. So I went 6 months and I keep going like maybe a month at a time, maybe 2 weeks. Right now I'm at 2 weeks. And I keep going back. And I think it's because I still want to be a little naughty.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because is there a trigger? Or is it just like you just want to be naughty? You just want to be normal? Like, because for me, I just want to be normal. I just want to like why can't I just do something?
Right. Sometimes I just want to be naughty, and sometimes it's maybe stress. It's a stress relief, but it is not, I feel it. I can really feel it. That's another thing. Do you feel that when you're not drinking? Like, I feel so much more in my body. My body talks to me and I listen to it like so much more than ever. Because I feel like I just always probably felt shitty.
Yes, I was talking about that today. Like, my baseline for how I felt was like I couldn't handle it now. It would like drop me. I had like the ulcers, the heartburn. I couldn't eat. There was no foods I could eat without getting heartburn. Couldn't even look at tomatoes or Bloody Marys or spaghetti sauce.
Yep.
And now I haven't had heartburn in a year or two.
Yeah.
And so many things about my body that I'm just like I take advantage of now, thinking back at how I was living. I don't know. It's just wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what were you saying before that? Why did we start talking about that?
You just said when you smoke, you feel everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would just, I can feel it. And then I'm like, okay, I have to stop because I'm really feeling it. And then I feel really good. And then I get maybe stressed, or maybe it's Friday and I'm like, I just want to have a THC drink and a cigarette, and just home and watch my movie.
Yeah. But whoever said we needed to be perfect, and I get it too.
Right.
Like, cigarettes to me is the lesser of the two evils. I do smoke a cigarette once or twice a month. I feel like they always make me feel just exhausted and tired right away, and I always regret it.
Yeah.
And again,
sometimes I'm like,
this is the best thing in the world. Yeah.
But I don't ever, I've told my kids, I don't ever want you to smoke.
Yes.
It is so hard to give up. I don't know why, but I was a full-time smoker until I got pregnant. And then I became a very like social smoker, but I would smoke a pack if I was drinking.
Yeah, that's the thing. If I smoke a cigarette, that doesn't make me want alcohol. But if I have a drink,
instantly
need cigarettes.
Instantly need a cigarette. Yeah. Yep, for sure.
And I just told James the same thing because he's obsessed with sports and he knows everything there is to know about sports. So he wants to gamble a little bit. And we just drove to Danbury because he wanted to place a bet on the Timberwolves. And I'm like, okay, but just like you have to check yourself. If you're ever like giving yourself a limit of how much you can spend and then you overseed that.
Yeah.
That's when you know like you're starting to have a problem. And like, please don't go through the horrible pain of quitting an addiction like that.
Yeah.
Like, just don't. I mean, kids can never listen.
Yeah.
We couldn't either, but just please listen to that one thing. Life will just find other struggles.
Yes.
Put yourself through other hard things.
Right.
So that you don't need to overcome that because I've never had a problem with gambling, but I can't imagine getting my dopamine hits from that and not being able to quit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, for sure. It's just something else that's just so normalized, just like alcohol, smoking. Yeah, just so normal. But when you tell someone, "Well, I'm 30 days off of heroin," they're like, "Great."
yeah.
"I'm 30 days off of
Nobody's gonna,
alcohol." They're like,
yeah,
"Oh, really?
yeah,
Did you have a problem?"
yeah, yeah. I mean, I've literally had family members say, like, you're so much more fun when you drink. You know, I mean, like, everybody said that to me. Nobody's gonna say that to somebody like, oh, you're so much more fun when you do heroin.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like the good is the enemy of great type thing, but opposite. So, like, just because it's kind of bad,
Yeah.
you know, makes it fine. But if it was really bad,
Yeah.
like Steve-O says, like, he's lucky that he was a full-blown alcoholic because then he knew he had to quit. He's like, the real struggle is for the people who are just kind of an alcoholic. So then they just live in that forever. And I think
Yes.
about that a lot.
Yes.
And
And it's
I
so
am so lucky
normalized.
that I got out before I got a DWI or hurt somebody or hurt myself worse. I mean, I have scars all over my head from falling,
Yeah.
but somehow
Yeah.
I got out.
You know what's really cool though is it is becoming more normal.
Yeah, I
And
know.
it's
So exciting.
so fun.
And
Walking,
mocktails, like
yeah,
you
the
said in your Facebook
mocktails,
post.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm less and less into the mocktails, probably more and more going towards like a kombucha
Yeah.
or the poppies are kind of fun or something like that.
Yeah.
But in an NA aisle, like they have full blown like a whiskey sour that tastes like a whiskey sour. So it's kind of fun
Yeah.
once in a while. If you wanna have a Moscow Mule or something that truly tastes like one.
Right.
So that's kind of
Right.
fun that they're like leaning into that, and the breweries are doing NA craft beers and love craft beers, like love them. And the beer club in town has an NA beer.
Yeah, I saw that, but I'm hoping that they do a stout because the only beers I ever liked were stouts.
Oh yeah.
And there's a
That
good
would be
one up in
great.
Duluth. And there is some really good ones that you're like, you can't even taste that these don't have alcohol in them.
Yeah, and then you can just have one.
Yeah, and feel like a normal person.
Yeah, like
it's so
I can
fun.
have a beer too.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming on, and I hope that you come
you.
on as a guest again soon.
Yes, for sure. I'm so excited for you and your podcast adventure. This is perfect for you.
Thanks.
I think you're going to do great things.
Thanks. Naut comes from the Greek word sailor and means voyager or traveler. Like an astronaut searching the stars, a supernaut is one searching the inner and outer worlds of self, navigating life, consciousness, and reality, striving for betterment. The paradox is that seeking and striving can create more unrest and more unhappiness. So while calm seas may not make great sailors, I plan to explore the idea of light rescuing darkness instead of fighting it.